hapa uonekani, lakini sasa unaweza kuweka ile link. Ile link. Wao wana uwezo wa kuona hapa. Wala nafikiri issue ni projector. Maana huku naona vizuri tu. Huku
for Tanzania, which states changing mindset, changing mindset to achieve gender equality for sustainable development. That is the theme for Tanzania. And for Plan International globally, we are having a theme which says Women Share Your Power. So, based on that theme, that's why we are here today to share our messages. So, to start with, we are going to start with a message from our country chair manager, who is not here but we managed to get her message. So, we are going to watch it. And just to inform you, this event is live and we've shared the link through WhatsApp so other colleagues in other PO can join us. So that was the message from country HR manager. Now, as I said before, we are not going to have speakers. We are all here going to be speakers. So Anyone who would like to share any message with women today, you are welcome. Just get it.
Because it is do a day, let's give it priority to and then maybe comes about the joy. It's your day, please. That, that statement, yeah.
My discipline is we are women, we are really we are objects. We should never consider ourselves as objects. We should not consider ourselves as the inferiority person because we are really complete. Rather, as a listening, we should feel that appreciate and special.
We are all
Good afternoon. It's our day, and I'm very much proud of what the day brings out, and especially on the good themes. We have had the three themes: the UN theme, the government theme, as well as the plans global theme, and they all portray a message on how important the woman is to the society. So having Mel said about the importance of being of a girl having confidence on whatever that she does, and I would like just to comment on that and to just say that I I'm inspired of the person that I've become. I joined Plan International as a CDF, a very young girl, and I had these dreams, but something that I can share with the colleagues, some colleagues who are there in the field, is that apart from having a confidence, you must have the passion, and that in whatever that you do, you must love whatever that you do, and on top of that, you must be having a goal. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? As Mary has said, apart from, of course, apart from having a goal, you must also have a person that you look up to. Who do you want to be? Like, who is your role model? So on this important day, as we celebrate the women across the globe, I want to call upon our colleagues, Mel, to always be part of our progress. You have been doing very well. We cannot accomplish our task without your support. So what I want to call upon other colleagues in the field, other colleagues within this room, is to always be supportive of what we do. Always value what the female colleague presents to your table, and always feel that everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in every kind of decision. That's my call. Thank you.
Contribution from the team. No?
Maybe they can contribute via the messages here, and then we can read them. Yes, there is. Yes, we read. So colleagues from all the pews, we encourage you to share your messages. There's a chat box where you can type in your message, or maybe through the WhatsApp group where we are, and then we can just read them out here. So we encourage you to type something about the International Women's Day based on the this year theme, as well as looking at the entire inspirations that you've come across in various contexts. So we welcome you to join us in this conference as well. Thank you. And just to say, maybe as we are thinking of this International Women's Day, we all of us here can ask ourselves different questions. One is looking at the power of women in the community. How do we see that coming actually in our communities? There are lots of stereotypes in the communities. There are lots of barriers that women and actually young girls are facing in the community. From our experience, what does it take for a woman to excel? So if you are sharing your opinion, you can also at least share your experience based on that. But again, do you see any spaces for women to excel in the community? Think of that woman who is a standard 7 leaver, or maybe a graduate from the university, or maybe someone who is doing a small business in a local community, in a rural community. Is there a space for them to excel in this context, and actually looking at the entire changes that have been happening in development world? And also the third question where we must ask ourselves, or maybe position ourselves, is looking at, as we are commemorating this International Women's Day, what is the message that we want to send out there to the young girls? What do we see as the future of young girls in Tanzania, but also in other countries where Plan International is operating? I know we're coming from different backgrounds, but we can think of those kind of 3 areas where we can talk about our experiences and also share our inspirations, as some of our colleagues have done. Like, they've really excelled and they've taken some steps. We can take this opportunity as well to share with colleagues so that they are able to reach where we are seeing this country, where we are seeing women of this world, where we are seeing the members of the community to be. So I really encourage, as we are talking about this, we make it in a form of sharing experiences, also looking at the powers of women, but again, the key messages that we want to share. Welcome. So we've heard from Angeline, and maybe something from Mr. Musif.
It's very encouraging to learn that even globally, women seem to be facing similar challenges of being marginalized because of how societies are set up, and the fact that the cultures are deeply rooted in our society. Therefore, they affect women more than men, because more often men are perpetrators. And with that, it's very important to understand that we are all equal, but women are jeopardized or they are affected by what exists in society. And there's many put it very clearly in the Furahini. It's also about knowing oneself. A self-actualization is very important, because you know that you have your own rights as a human being, and also as a woman you have your own rights. And actually, it is to plan to have a vision towards achieving your rights, and do away with any kind of inferiority complex that might be there because of the context where we operate, and ensure that out of that you become a self-made personality. Self-made personality in the sense that you will be forging towards what you need, never be retracted, never accept that. And again, because I was using the right term, female, young female. Maybe it could be girls, but one female. So again, here we're also talking of children, and in particular, we're also talking of a girl child. The emancipation of a girl child will first of all foremost beginning at home on how parents and probably you as mothers now are trying to do away with the stereotypes right at the household, right? So that they understand that they're not different from their brothers and promote that culture and spirit in such a way that when they get out of families, really, they realize and they go with confidence to demonstrate that. That is to say, their education will be very critical. The second aspect, education outside the homestead, education in a school setting and a learning institution setting. That will be very important tool to emancipate your daughters and yourself as you move towards the high level of the ladder in your career. Thank you.
I think those are really powerful remarks as we are commemorating this day. So linking what is happening in the community and the power that education can bring in the lives of young females, and actually, that translates into the entire powers in the community. So there's a recent research that has been published by the World Bank, and which is more of talking on the context of Tanzania. And actually, this is looking at the barriers that young females are actually facing in the community. And from the perspective of that finding, it was more related to the cost that comes with the barriers that young girls are facing. So this study, which has been launched in January 2019 by the World Bank, is talking more of the costs of child marriage in Tanzania. So translating the barrier into the amount of money and the funds that the country is losing because we did not give an opportunity for a single girl to go to school. So you can see now we've transformed ourselves from thinking only of social barriers and how they impact the community, and now talking about now the way we practice and the way we affect girls and how that entirely affects the economy of the country or the globe. So I think that's a perspective that we also need to think about when we are trying to commemorate this day, and when we're trying to send out the message and say, whenever you think of undermining a single female, a single woman from the community where you are actually affecting the economy of the country. So the power of women should be something that we are encouraging, and actually we are making sure that the potentials are clearly being unleashed for us to achieve whatsoever we call the Sustainable Development Goals and the vision that we have for Tanzania to become a middle-income country. And I think this is very interesting conversation. Maybe we can hear from the colleagues as well. Thank you. Yes? Sure.
Part of this celebration. Unfortunately, is not here with us.
Yeah.
It's currently suffering, but she has asked me to deliver the message. And, I want to pass on to Angelina to read this through.
Sure.
They come to direct the message loud and clear so that the whole of can get the message from the country directly. So the message you will read. But there is something which is accompanying the message, which I want to hear, which is saying, please pass on my message to the team. And I'm interested to hear how the men are commemorating Women's Day with their colleagues, friends, and the family. Now, this is the message.
That's an interesting one. Angela, maybe you can stand up so that we see you clearly. Because you're delivering the message of the country director. Yes.
Is it possible to
Because it's a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good picture.
Yeah.
No, I can't read.
But yeah, this is the message. But Angela will read it clearly. Thank you.
So we have, these are the faces for a woman. So we have this wonderful message from our country director, Winnet. I will start reading it. Not just this day, but every day, be strong, be independent, be bold, be passionate. Happy Women's Day.
So yeah, so I think that's an interesting one, and thank you so much, Gwyneth, for joining us, and we welcome another participant. Welcome, Doctor. Not yet. We only receive a message from yeah. There are some participants from the chat. One while you're preparing, Dr. Benatus. This one is called Mizarubi Mafuele. Mafuele is saying, Happy Women's Day. We love you all. You can be what you want. Focus and achieve it. Go, go, go. Thank you so much, Ms. Arodi. And we have Neema Ndemno. I would like to extend my gratitude to all women across the world for their endless struggle in achieving gender equality. We are moving forward, and nothing can stop us until the world is equal. International Women's Day 2019. Thank you so much, Nema. And yes, you can keep on sending us your messages through our WhatsApp group. Also, you can use the chat box where you can send your message. Welcome, Doctor.
NGO sector when just the with the public sector and the university. What I want to share here is since 2011 I joined the NGO sector until today. I'm glad that my immediate supervisors are all in. Is it like, is it a coincidence? I don't know. But the person you see here is a branch of the supervision and the support from the very strong women who were courageous and they supported me a lot. When I was failing, they were supporting me, but also they gave me courage and also engaged me in different ways. There was a time in one of the organizations I was working, one of the top three leaders were women. And we were happy with the country director of finance and the director, they were all women. And it was not as it was, they were competent, we are happy with them. And living from them and what I learned is that God opportunities during their career. Listening to them, it was like they are given opportunities and they are supported equally together with their counterparts in their lives. So the message here is, I believe in the individual contribution. Is that can we start at the family level, evaluate ourselves? How are we contributing? Because it's that small contribution at the family level. If each of us can give that opportunity and support both the women and the men equally, so that they can achieve their potential. My request here is to encourage every one of us to provide opportunities equal for every one in the family so that they can grow and they reach the potential, whatever they want to be in their future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yeah, yes, Makufi as ziada tafadhali. So we are still encouraging our colleagues to send their messages so that we share and we can read them out here based on the experiences that they've had and the opportunities and challenges. May I see, please, the next person to contribute on this International Women's Day? I know Neema has just joined us, and she will get an opportunity later a bit late, to share her message as well, together with a sort of inspiration speech. But yeah, we encourage everyone here to share a wonderful message to the women out there watching, and we are live and some colleagues are really following up. Karibuni for a second, for another message. Muiza, maybe from the HR perspective, or maybe Irene. Irene, from the HR perspective, are opportunities for women there in the communities? Maybe you can, yes, you can come in front here.
Yeah, the opportunities are there for women. It's only that we really need to go out and show ourselves and be there to show ourselves that women we can be empowered, we can do our work, we can do anything like men can do. So it's our test again to ensure that we show ourselves out into the communities, into different opportunities in terms of HR. And on top of that, we want men again to help us to balance balance for better. Like that's the theme for this year for the International Women's Day. It says balance for better. Then again, we depend a lot on men to ensure that we balance for better in terms of the economic.
So yeah, so that's from the HR perspective, and you wanted to add something, Ms. Arun.
As always. So I do encourage them to keep focusing, to do what they believe they can do, because they do. When they are given chance to do it, they normally do it. We observe it, for example, here at the country office, we have a lot of women who are heading in many of the departments, and they are able to do it. So we do encourage the female to keep it up, to focus on it, and they can achieve it.
Sure, thank you so much. So yeah, so we are still encouraging colleagues and to share the messages. Maybe Josephat, you are one of the young, vibrant individual in this country, and you've really experienced lots of other women experiencing obstacles. What is the message in this International Women's Day? You can stand. Maybe you can stand so that we see you clearly. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Then, let me make one quotation from JK. 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 He said that to plan is to choose and to choose is to plan. What I mean here is that women we need tools, women we need to plan. We need to set our own goals in order to achieve what we need. And then when a team or maybe there is a group of women in the world when they are very maybe they are very successful. That starts from a single woman. So here we need to say that every plan, every goal must start from the single woman, and then all of the women in the world will achieve their goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really like the way Josephat was talking, because he was saying we women. So that by itself, uh, breaks the stereotypes that we we are now going to in a situation where we are changing mindset, and are starting to think of women as also human beings with equal opportunities in the communities. So yeah. So it's almost close to that. So we really encourage others to contribute as well. Maybe Mr. Raymond. Yes.
Thank you very much. This opportunity. First of all, I'd like to wish all the women Health International in the state. Yes, it has been already said out that we, because of culture and where we have come from, we've come a long way. And remember, in the early days, in the 1970s, there is this what they call UWT, Market Tanzania. I mean, they did not even trust women to be chair. It had to be a man.
Oh.
Just imagine that a man is a chair of that organization. Now we come a long way. So I encourage women to keep on taking charge of their affairs and to encourage us men to be part of the process. Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Raymond. And maybe now is the opportunity to welcome Neema to share your message during the International Women's Day. Karibu. Yes, so that we see you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
So happy Women's Day. So before this, I was planning to have a kind of a short presentation that you find your life.
Yeah.
So basically, I'll just have a quick training to all the women, including myself. And so basically, maybe I'll start with the story. So then I can continue. So when I just graduated from school, my first job in one organization. So in that organization, when I was just employed, and then another man come. We're on the same age, and we're staying on the same wing like this. And in that wing, there were like four of us. Me, that new man was an IT guy, and also another person, and then there was another woman. So we were four. Both of those two, a man and a woman, were a bit older than the two of us. We were very young, fresh from school. And in that place, there was 10 days of having tea break every at 10 a.m. And so basically, the person who's preparing tea, and then you go, you take the tea, and then you come back to the office. So the first day, when I went to take my tea, the lady was preparing the tea. She said, like, Neema, can you take a tea for your brother, your mother, and your sister there? Then I say, like, fine, it's good. So I just took the tea, and then I did all the tea. Then the second day I went, then she didn't even ask me anything, that she gave me the tray, and I had to go take and then the time. Then I said to my office and I asked myself, did this woman want me to be taking tea every day or no? Then the third day I didn't go, so that to see where is this thing going on. And then she came with we're having a small boat to send tea. Like, you girl, why did you come to take tea today? I said, no, I'm just full. So why? So you see your brother, your father, and your mother, they haven't even had it because you need to come to take tea. Then I asked, like, you want me to be carrying the tea for them? Say, yes, you're the youngest person in this room, so you expect me to come and to bring tea here? And so, okay, so to cut the story short, then we had another staff meeting like this. And then they were just kind of discussing, then it's like in an AOP, like other business, and then they say, no, we have one thing we want to say. they were saying that I think now we need to to see on how we behave in this place. Personally, so make sure you also say about it. And then when I said, when you say that you mean that you want me to keep on that issue of telling to others, they say yes, man, why not? Because you are the youngest. And then I feel like why? Why me? Why not the boy that became? Why not? Why me? So I was trying to like, why me? So then I came to realize as a woman, wherever you go, we carry all those kind of things. We find all people define us as women. But that is how society sees women, but how do we see ourselves? So then I had to change that narrative. It's okay, I'm a young person. I'm a whatever I am. But then I think when I'm in the workplace, I'm an employee like any other person. And if I can sell a tea, why not be sell with me? It could be mutual, but not me because I'm a woman. So in this day of the women, day, I want to celebrate women a day by saying that. And another thing of me, I'm a strong believer in reading. So I've been reading this book, and I encourage all women here.
Can you show it?
It's a very encouraging book, and I know all of us as women and men, we have role models, people that we are looking at. And this is a Sherry. Yeah, and I think some of you know, she is a CEO of, and I know you can mention the big company, but you cannot ignore Facebook. So if we want to strive to be better, these are the people that we want to look and learn from them, how they come up to reach there from there. So when I'm very glad here we have the top management and the country director as a woman, but I know it's not even easy for women to penetrate from the lower and comes up. So the key message from this book is like how a woman can grow from where I am to where, how to be balance this kind of thing. Work, home, family, yourself, and then you see yourself you want to go there. So like given the position as women, they say like sit on the table. Please sit on the table and assume our role and believe that we have what it takes as women. But also as women here, how do we support each other and empower each other to reach women more? Like we also need men as well. Some of us were inspired by the natural, some of us were inspired by some. So how do we make an environment where we are working as a place where women can reach out and empower and mentor each other? So I encourage all of you women in plan to read this book. It's very inspirational. Good.
You forgot to mention the men also buy the book for their wife, their girlfriend.
So happy Women's Day, everyone. So as you've heard, Nema is really trying to make us feel of some extra things that we can practically do to realize that empowerment which we are talking about. And it's equality has value, has value, and we've seen that it can be a very powerful and very strong if it's being supported by women themselves, but also men are really championed in the community. But again, we recognize Furaini Michael is sending a message and say women can achieve anything they dream about. Let's be positive about ourselves. We can definitely make it. Proudly woman. Thank you so much. Encouraging everyone to send their messages and we will definitely read them. Jessica, welcome. And this is Youth for Change. Anything on that and actually your message?
I'm communication personnel for education strategy. First of all, have a nice day. Yeah, I think a lot has been said about Women's Day. And today I was going through some of my own stuff, and Actually, one of the girls says there was a man who asked her, "Why are we celebrating this?" I think this is one of the most important things to think about on a day like today. And from there onward, that makes sense to think like, why do we have to have Women's Day and what's so special about this? Uh, and then some other person also like women likes to complain a lot, so probably we should just have one day where everyone says praising or saying whatever good about absolute poverty. She was sitting on the street selling kerosene for it. This is a woman who stood and fought for the country. She went through houses through the entire country to unite people to fight for independence. So there are a lot of Levititus Muhammad out there. A lot of women who struggle, whose contribution are in vain. So today we're not only celebrating the Levititus Muhammad, of which we know, we're celebrating every woman whose contribution, whose validation is being in vain every day. Our mothers who are just at home, preparing breakfast, working children, preparing them to go to school every day. These are the women that we should look for today and tell them that we appreciate. Today I saw this quotation by this poetess named she said, "I stand on the sacrifices of the millions of women before me, thinking, what can I do to make this mountain taller? To the women after me, so the women after me can see Father." So I'm telling this to everyone in this room, and to every man carries to their knowledge, sisters, wives, aunties, that there is still so much more for women to do, so that the women that will come after us will see Father. Because we can still see the stigmatization and stereotyping that are still keeping women down. So that is the message from me and Youth for Change, that we should all stand so that women who are coming after us can see Father. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's quoted are really powerful and strong. And we really, in this IWD, we are also commemorating and recognizing the powers of some iconic women all over the globe. The one who wrote the book that name wrote, Malala, you know her. Young girls in Tanzania who are really doing some great things. We're recognizing their powers, which have really challenged the narrative. The way we were thinking of women in the communities is completely different. Actually, they have the power. And of course, for today, this is an opportunity, and you can see from the contributions of the participants in this room that, women have, it only takes a team support for them to really realize and actually show their power in the community, and it works. So this is really encouraging. So this is Emmanuel Steven saying, nice, happy Women's Day. We thank you so much, Emmanuel Steven, and we are encouraging others to share their messages as well. We'll read them as we go on. May I please welcome some few hands before we wind up and actually see how we can now translate these messages into our lives in different communities. Remember, we have also shared the link in Twitter, and we are also encouraging people to follow us on Instagram, and we can still achieve the objectives of really showing the exemplary of commemorating the International Women's Day. We've had some messages. Maybe, Emma, we should welcome you for your message as well. And from the finance perspective, it's sometimes most of the people see most of the successful business people are men and not women. Is there anything that you can say about women with finances, economy, business, everything about that?
Before I answer your question, I just want to quote Bishop Obama. That one day she said that a failure of a girl or a failure of a woman, we should take it as our failure. We as women should be able to support each other. And when we see one girl or a woman is failing, then we should stand up to pull them up, to support them, to encourage them. And because their failure is actually our failure in the society. You know, we tell them, by the way, as what Nell has said in the community, we are seen differently. So I will encourage all other ladies, all other women, whenever you see friend, person around you, she has failed, then you take that courage to support. It doesn't matter how she has failed in what perspective, whether educationally, at work, at home, in the community, and anywhere. I've got this from. So, I don't know what to say about finance, but
Women and the economy.
I really don't know how to. I really don't know how to connect that with the economy, but maybe I'll just encourage women to study in order to improve our economy, to work, to do business, to study, you know, and all those things for the purpose of improving the economy of the country.
Yeah, so women really, they face lots of challenges. One, we see there are some traditional practices which are really harmful to young girls. That's one. But again, there's the practice of child marriage, female genital mutilation, uh, early pregnancies or teenage pregnancies, we can call them. We can count a number of challenges that young girls are really facing before even we count them in the context of economy. In your own opinion, do you see we making progress around addressing those challenges and actually supporting more young girls and women to achieve?
Yes, I see that we make progress in that. As you know, even the programs that we have in the country, not only plan, even in other NGOs, what they do. Mostly we are there to protect the children, to protect the young girls. You know, we protect them against early marriages and just to keep them safe because if you protect, I believe if you protect a young girl, you're protecting your society. Because we know we carry the whole burden. So I think we are doing very good and we're doing very well. We should encourage each other to continue.
There's a young girl out there who is actually looking at someone like you who is actually currently working, and you can choose the job that you want, but they are still somewhere blocked and they don't see their future. What is that message that you can tell them during this Women's Day?
Oh, I think the biggest problem with us, we need to be confident in ourselves. We need to trust ourselves. You know, we need to trust in what we can do. Because I see, like myself, I really like Mama Samia Suluhu. You know, I like when I look at the news. You know, I like the way she addresses issues, and in the fact that she's a woman, I would also like one day to be somewhere there. So we need to be confident, we need to trust in ourselves, and also need to encourage others, you know, to be the same in order for us to also be able to hold those positions in organizations in the country, politics, and all that.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we see lots of interesting messages. And this one says, it is hard to imagine a world without women. They play a significant role in our lives, be it as mothers, sisters, daughters, or friends. With this, they manage both the home and their work life and never complain. So, this Women's Day, appreciate the ladies in your lives for all they have done for you by sending them some wonderful messages and wishes. Start with women around you. And this is the message coming from Mwizarubi Mafwele. Thank you so much. So this is very encouraging, and actually, as I said, we're encouraging all others to share their wonderful